Welcome to the NHL Ice Guys for Thursday, November 16th. I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review, and we're really shorthanded right now. I mean, that's all we can say. Andrew McInnes was expected to join us. We're not sure. We're waiting on him. Hopefully he is able to join us. Dana Lane is not able to join us today. Family commitments. He has a daughter, and he's got to, school at this time of morning in Las Vegas, and he's transporting her to a different school today. So he's not able to join us. He'll be back though on Saturday. He was actually gut wrenched in the DM to me that he sent to me that he was missing the show today. But that's Dana. He's a committed individual. He'll be back though on Saturday, ready to rock and roll. But I do have one of my ice guys with me. Thank goodness. I'm not doing the solo, thank goodness, today here on this busy Thursday. I do have Alex with me. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. This is a really good Thursday card. I was excited when I saw the lines open up yesterday. I emailed you and Dana saying about this is like 6 or 7 games that I really like. I had to narrow down my plays to about 3 or 4, but we're going to talk about all of them, and we got some good notes and some good things to pinpoint here on this card tonight.
Absolutely. We're going to get right to it. It's a loaded card. No time to waste. New Jersey, Toronto at the top of the card, 51-52. We've got no line. Austin Matthews might return to the Leaf lineup. They've been off since Saturday. One of those teams on that mandated 5-day NHL break. And Toronto playing good hockey. And you just worry that the break might ruin their momentum a little bit. That is one concern I have. And New Jersey did beat Toronto their previous meeting earlier this season. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm not in love with a side in this game. I will be looking at this game to go over the total if we get confirmation from Toronto that Austin Matthews is going to play in this game, because the one thing the Leafs have done without Matthews in the lineup is really make a concerted, better effort at the defensive end of the ice. We've seen that. They play better at that end of the ice, no question. Without him on the ice, I think they've just maybe overcompensated a little bit for losing Matthews' scoring prowess by really digging in defensively. You just get that sense everybody might relax a little bit for Toronto if Austin Matthews does indeed make his way back into the lineup tonight, and that could result in a situation where you end up having more rush chances back and forth, a little more end-to-end action. Maybe you see that tonight here in this New Jersey-Toronto game. So as of right now, we have no total, but the over will make some sense to me here in this particular hockey game if indeed we do see Austin Matthews back on the ice for Toronto. And this has been an over series as well. It's worth pointing out, for some reason, when it's been Devils versus Leafs, we've had higher scoring games. 5 straight overs in this series, 5-0 to the over. The last 5 head-to-head meetings between the Devils and Toronto, the scores were 5-1, 5-4, 4-2, 4-2, 6-3. So we've seen goals. And Corey Schneider is one of those guys where the Leafs have actually had his number. They've performed very well against him and had their success against Corey Schneider. So over the total, we'll see where the number comes out, but definitely a bet I'm considering for that game tonight between the Devils and the Leafs. We got Carolina Islanders 53-54, New York Islanders -130 at home, total 5.5, slightly shaded to the over. I think Carolina's starting to get their game in gear just a little bit. It's not easy to bet against the Islanders at home. Look at that home record, 5-0-1, very, very strong. They've been tough here at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And they've just played their best hockey all season long here on home ice. So it's not an easy situation to go against the Islanders at home, but I really do like the corner, I guess you could say, that this Carolina team seems to be turning right now. They actually are starting to pop in some goals. They exploded against the Dallas Stars in the third period, and you have to think that it was a little bit overdue for the Carolina Hurricanes to get some production offensively. 5-goal outburst against Dallas. They've scored 3 goals or more now in 4 straight games. They've won 3 of their last 4 games because the shots on goal that they were registering, they were getting the chances. They were getting the looks. They just weren't clinical enough in front of the net and finishing those chances and converting them into goals. They're starting to do that now. And this is a team that still does have some weapons offensively. When you think of a Victor Rask, you think of Elias Lindholm, you think of Teuvo Teravainen. There are guys that can put a puck in the net here for Carolina. It didn't show early on. They're starting now to get some bounces, some puck luck, as I like to call it, and some goals are starting to come in. It's a tough game because I actually think Carolina's a bet-on team for me right now, but I'm a little hesitant with the Islanders playing so well at home. But I know Alex has a thought on the Carolina Islanders game tonight. Alex, what are you looking at here in Brooklyn?
This is a game I played early. I was on got Carolina because I figured that we were going to see this number bounce back around a little bit. Carolina, like you said, they've been playing well. They've won 3 of the last 4. The game they lost was against the Hawks. They had a 3-1 lead and they blew it late. Had a couple penalties go against them, but like you mentioned, a lot of guys scoring. Tara Vina's got 11 points in the last 10 games. Brock McGinn, who got crushed in that Hawks game and then came back and had a beautiful highlight reel goal. He's got 5 goals in his last 8 games. So this is a team that's playing really well. Like I said, it's hard to go against the Islanders, but I think Carolina, I think they're primed for a spot. They're playing their best hockey right now, and they need to gain some ground in that division. So playing a division opponent, I think they should get them fired up on the road. I like the Carolina side tonight.
Yeah, I think I like their form right now. The only reservation is this home record of the New York Islanders, which has been very, very strong so far this season. But there's no denying Carolina's playing their best hockey right now and starting to put things together. And a team that I think underachieved a little bit early on, not necessarily been the case lately, starting to play some team. We've got the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Ottawa Senators next game, 55-56 on the rotation number. Ottawa. Pittsburgh slightly road favorite, minus 115 in this game. The total of 6 shaded slightly to the under, about 6 under minus 115 in this hockey game. Should be a good game. I mean, Pittsburgh and Ottawa, 2 very good teams. It's an Eastern Conference Finals rematch as well from last year. That's always going to be interesting to see. I'm sure Ottawa, for that reason, it fired up a little bit, extra motivation maybe to play Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's one of these up and down hockey teams, though they really haven't put consistency together at any stretch this season. To this point, we've seen Matt Murray really not play great all that consistently as well this season so far for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So it's just been a little bit of a mishmash for this Penguins team. Haven't really put it all together. 10-9 is not the record you would expect them to, but again, with Pittsburgh, you got to pick your spots with them. Pick the times where they're going to be bring an A+ effort in the regular season, because you get the sense now for a team that's won back-to-back cups, the regular season's just a little bit of a malaise for them. It's just, let's get through it. Let's just plug our way through it. We're going to have nights where we don't show up, but let's just get to the playoffs. Let's get healthy and let's get ready to roll when the games matter the most in April. So Pittsburgh's one of those tough teams for me to bet on. Particularly in the regular season, unless I have a really good reason to do so. More inclined to bet against them, just because you just don't know if you're going to see that, balls to the wall effort on a nightly basis for Pittsburgh, a team that's gone to the Stanley Cup Finals and won 2 straight years. You got to conserve yourself a little bit for the postseason. And I know Alex is thinking maybe of going against those Penguins tonight here in this game. Alex, what are you looking at with Pittsburgh and Ottawa?
Yeah, I like Ottawa in this spot here. And like I said, we talked about it. There's a lot of teams that are starting these the 5-day mandated days off in the NHL, and that was a spot to really kind of go against last year. But here's a team we got. Obviously, Ottawa coming back to North America after the sweep of Colorado in Sweden over the weekend. But like I said, this is a big revenge spot here. This team was a goal away from beating Pittsburgh and going to the Stanley Cup Finals. So that's something that, this is a lot of turnover from this team. So all these guys were on the ice for the most part there, remembering what happened in that Game 7. Like I said, Pittsburgh not playing that well. Matt Murray, the fact that not only is he struggling, he's had to appear or start in 17 of the first 20 games for Pittsburgh. So yes, he's a younger guy and he's a good goalie, but you talk about the workload that he's had over the last couple of years from deep playoff runs, and now having to play that much early in the year. How many games this guy gonna have to start? Over time. And is he gonna start to break down? So they can't afford to have him break down defensively. They're in serious trouble. Their depth on goaltending is brutal. So. But look at an Ottawa team that likes to play tight defensively. They only allowed 18 and 19 shots against Colorado, in those last 2 games. So they slow things down, get a couple of goals early. They should be able to skate away with the win here. And Pittsburgh, we don't talk about look-ahead spots too often in the NHL, but there's definitely a look-ahead spot because they've got Chicago coming to town on Saturday, and everybody remembers the beginning of the year, Chicago put that 10 spot on them at the United Center. So I can see where this might be a bit of a look-ahead spot, especially if Pittsburgh goes down early in this contest.
All right, we've got Ottawa for Alex B. Smith in that game, and yeah, I mean the getting it reacclimated, obviously back now in Ottawa following that 2-game swatch in Sweden against Colorado shouldn't be a big deal. You've had since Saturday. The practice time and the time to get acclimated with his teammates should be good for a guy like Matt Duchene, who, to be honest, really didn't looked like he fit in well. First 2 games against Colorado, didn't play his best, but I think now he's going to start to get more comfortable with the Senators and really start to mesh a lot more, get some practice in, get some camaraderie going with the teammates. So that's going to help for Matt Duchene, who's going to be centering a line with Ryan Dzingel and Bobby Ryan tonight behind that Stone, Brassard, and Hoffman line, which has been terrific for the Ottawa Senators. They've been fantastic. I think all 3 of those guys currently for the hockey team, double digits in points on the season. Stone 19, Hoffman 16, Brassard 15. So there you go. They've been big time for Ottawa in terms of producing offensively. So Senators at the minus 105 price for Alex B. Smith in that hockey game. We've got Arizona, Montreal 57-58. Montreal laying about minus 190 to minus 200. Total 5.5 shaded to the under. There's not been many games this year where you could say Arizona's been paltry in terms of their effort, but we saw it the other night. It was not the greatest effort from them against Winnipeg, a 4-1 loss, flat. Didn't really respond the way you'd like to see when you fall behind. They didn't keep going after it. They sort of pitched the tent and went home. It's just been eventually when you're playing better than your record indicates for as long as Arizona was, but you have no wins and no results to show for it. You're not getting wins to show for it. It's going to chip away at you mentally, and it's starting to do that with this Arizona team. Their effort waned just a little bit in that game against Winnipeg the other night in that 4-1 loss, and they're just going through a rut right now. Unbackable, I don't like using that word because every team, if there is enough value in the price or in the number, you can back them. You could make a case to back them. But right now, Arizona's just not finding ways to win games. So it's really, really difficult. And I thought Antti Raanta would give them a boost. He's been good at times. He's been not so good at times. So even the goaltending, which I thought could be solidified when he came back, hasn't really happened. So this is a game I'm staying away from completely. I think it's way too much of a price to ever lay with Montreal, no question. But Arizona's not finding any sort of ways to win games right now. Even the games they do play well enough to win, there's a bad bounce here, a bad penalty there, a giveaway there to cost them a game. And that seems to be the recurring theme this season for the Arizona Coyotes. So this is a game I'm not going to be involved with in the end. We've got Dallas, Tampa Bay next up, 59-60. Tampa Bay minus 165 to minus 180. Anywhere in that range as home chalk. Total 6 shaded to the under. Tough spot for Dallas. It's their 3rd road game in 4 nights. Played in Florida Monday, played in Carolina Monday, played in Florida on Tuesday. Now you're playing Tampa here, although the travel's not too bad from Florida to Tampa, not bad whatsoever. So it's not a horrendous traveling and scheduling spot for Dallas, but it's a team that, right now also having a tougher time on this road trip. Dropped 1 to Carolina, lost in a shootout to the Florida Panthers the other night. So they're looking to salvage one on this road trip. So, and it's Tampa Bay. It's the best team in the Eastern Conference right now, best team in the NHL right now. So it's going to have Dallas's attention. But this Tampa Bay team just playing too strong. What reason have they given you to go against them at this point in time? They've been excellent. They've been good defensively. Vasilevsky's been good in net. Kucherov and Stamkos are a tandem that no team in the NHL has been able to slow down or neutralize so far this season. So there's a lot to like here with Tampa Bay right now. So from my perspective, there's a good price with Dallas, but Tampa Bay is just one of those teams I have no real interest to step in front of right now. They're playing great hockey. This is a team that is healthy, that has a chip on their shoulder. They missed the playoffs last year. They think they can go all the way this year. They could. I mean, I said last year, the only reason Tampa missed the playoffs is because of all the injuries. If they got into the playoffs and were healthy, they would have been just as dangerous as any team in the East. And we're seeing that right now. Tampa Bay Lightning off to a flying start this season. No rush to step in their way. Philadelphia, Winnipeg, 61-62 next up on the rotation. Winnipeg minus 135 to minus 140. Total in this game, 5.5, shaded a little bit to the under in this game. Tough loss for the Philadelphia Flyers in their last game. They didn't play that terribly against Minnesota, the second of that home-and-home set. But again, they were Dubniked by Devin, I guess you could say, in that game as the shutout streak continues for one. Devin Dubnyk, 3-0 over the Philadelphia Flyers in that game. Winnipeg's playing good, though. Winnipeg is, and they're at home. They've played really good on home ice as well, this Winnipeg Jets team. So I'm not inclined to go in front of Winnipeg right now. They're playing good with Connor Hellebuck in net. They've won the majority of their games when he's been in net. And I would expect him to be in there tonight. So I actually lean Winnipeg. It's not a price. You're not going to see me laying upwards of -135 to -140 on the game on the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, even though they're playing better, they're still not that team that I'm fully trusting yet defensively, even though Hellebuck's been fine in net, laying this kind of price. So I lean to the Winnipeg Jets, but I was just hoping for a better price than what's currently out there. Alex, we are going to go back to you about the Dallas game. You have a note on this game you wanted to mention to our viewers. What you got?
Well, it's funny. The rotation schedule has kind of given us a good segue for both of these games. Honestly, you look at Dallas going into Tampa, and you got Philly and Winnipeg, both cases of old goaltenders possibly going up against former teams. But I think it's more of a bigger spot for Dallas. Ben Bishop spending a lot of time, obviously, like I said, those great the cup run that they made a few years ago. Spent a lot of time with that Tampa Bay team that had some really good chances to possibly be a cup contender. So for him to go back to Tampa now against a team that looks like they could possibly be once again another, make a run in the Eastern Conference, I think he'll be fired up to play against them. Also, Tampa, they are off for the last 3-4 days. They were coming off that 3-game West Coast road trip, so they have won 4 in a row. So I had Dallas circled in this game, but I'm off of it because Tampa is a really good hockey team. So it's a spot where I'm a little kind of in question. But don't completely discredit Dallas. They could possibly catch Tampa Bay in this spot tonight. That's for Philly and Winnipeg. Same deal. I thought Mason might be going up against his former team, but now it looks like from everything that I'm reading, Hellebuck will be the starter. Hellebuck's been outstanding. So I leaned a little bit with Winnipeg there. Even at a high price, I think the Jets, if that price comes down, we see some money come in on Philadelphia. They played well in the first, like I said, those last 2 games, but like I said, Devin Dubnyk has just been out of this world, and he shut down Philly for a combined 120 minutes. So, Winnipeg, if that price goes down maybe to the 125, 120 range, I'd look at the Jets tonight.
All right, so there we go, Winnipeg. I agree. I mean, definitely Winnipeg's the side I'd bet in that game. It's just a question of value. It's every bettor's individual value, basically. Where do you want the price to be in your mind to pull the trigger? And for me, it was just a touch high. Less than -130, I'm in, and a little more interested. At -140, not so much. I mean, I still think Winnipeg's one of these tricky teams at times to trust in that kind of price range, but I still lean that way. I don't want the Flyers. I know that they're struggling to score goals. They're battling injuries on the back end. Wayne Simmons hasn't produced, so it's been one of those situations where the Flyers are going through a little bit of a rut. When teams are in a rut or in a losing streak or in a funk, I don't look to fade the funk. I look to keep it going or keep fading that team until they show me they can win. Or when a team's just winning, I don't look to say, oh, this is the spot they're finally going to lose. No, I keep riding them until they lose. If the team's winning, I keep riding them and betting on them to keep winning until they lose that first game. So that's just a general philosophy that I have in hockey when it comes to streaks. Teams on a losing streak, I'm going to bet against them until they win. Teams on a winning streak, I'm going to bet on them until they lose. That's usually what I end up doing. Andrew's with us. There we go. I knew he was going to be here at some point because I knew he was starting to get over the illness he had. Andrew, good to have him with us. We've gotten to the Winnipeg game. So actually, I'm going to give Andrew the floor because I could use a drink of water at this point. Anything on the rotation, Andrew? From the first game, New Jersey, Toronto, down to the Philly, Winnipeg game, which is where we're at right now. If there's any games you have a bet on and want to talk about, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ian. First of all, I just want to say it's great to be back with you guys. It's been pretty rough the past week. First of all, one, just being out with the cold, being sick, and two, just kind of dealing with right now. I've been kind of just trying to get all new equipment. Trying to upgrade stuff for SBR, trying to upgrade my equipment, trying to better my internet connection for you guys. So it's better for the show, it's better for the ice guys. And hopefully soon I'll be able to get a better setup going for everybody. So it's all going to be a lot better and a lot easier for all of us to have a good connection and be able to work together. But you guys are doing a great job. I checked out you guys' videos the past two episodes, and it's looking nothing but great. So it's great to be here, guys, and it's kind of convenient, Ian, and the way you kind of segued me in there because one team I have been really liking is the Winnipeg Jets, and coming into this game, I think Philadelphia actually they were overachieving coming into this season, coming into this game. I guess they were putting up very, very high numbers coming into this. this game. I think Winnipeg right now, the biggest thing for them is they have their depth right now. You know, right now it's not just players like Line, it's not players like Wheeler, it's not players like Scheifele, it's not players like Ehlers that are scoring. Right now, I feel like they're not even relying on Hellebuck as much. They just have the depth. This depth from Winnipeg, I haven't seen this in a long time from a team like this. In my opinion, I think that they're very well-rounded right now. I think their decor has done a great job of keeping that pace, getting that puck up to the forwards, really using everybody. I mean, if you look at that last game, they literally did use all four lines. They easily defeat the Arizona Coyotes 4-1 in their last game. Had them on the puck line at plus 155. And I think tonight, guys, that they just keep rolling against this Philadelphia Flyers team. It is a little bit steeper of a price. I believe we're looking at around 131, 132, something of that price range. But there's nothing right now that's going to tell me that this Philadelphia Flyers team is even capable of matching up with this Winnipeg Jets team. This Winnipeg Jets team, the depth has been there way too much right now. And with the depth along with the goaltending, it's kind of that 1-2 punch, guys, where I just can't see Philadelphia establishing anything. And right now, Philadelphia is kind of seeming like that Calgary Flames type team for me right now. Their scoring depth is kind of the opposite right now. It's only those 1 or 2, 3 kind of guys that are known for putting that puck in the back of the net. And, you know, I think that kind of stuff really comes back to haunt you, you know, middle part of the season and stuff like that. So you really start to notice those trends, you know, when you've got, you know, Voracek and Couturier and you know, different players like that are doing so well to start the season, but then you realize that nobody else is scoring. It's kind of tough on your team, and, you know, there's way too much pressure on them. So I think coming into this game, I think Winnipeg has a full dominant game. They've had a day off to rest. They're coming off a great game. I think Philly will be fired up. They haven't been playing as well lately, in my opinion. But I think that Winnipeg will win this game, and I think possibly we'll even cover the puck line as well, guys.
All right, there you go. Another Winnipeg endorsement there for Andrew. Anything before the Winnipeg game that you were in on the rotation order that you were interested in tonight, or is that the first game?
Yeah, I'm just keeping it simple, guys. Less is more for me right now, and I'm really liking Winnipeg tonight.
Very good. All right, so there we go on that one. And yeah, I mean, I have no argument with that. I mean, the Flyers, to me, they're going through a little bit of a funk. So Winnipeg, I'm hoping that price comes down a little bit. We'll see if it does, but definitely a lean. And I know Alex leaning that way, and Andrew certainly will be on Winnipeg tonight in that game. Next up, we got Nashville, Minnesota, 63-64. Minnesota minus 125 to minus 130. The total of 5 shaded to the over heavily at minus 145. But wow, it's an extreme circumstance to see a 5 these days with a total in the NHL, but we do have an extreme circumstance here. We've got Devan Dubnyk now on an incredible shutout streak, which just keeps on going and going and going. What is this, 3 games now? Terrific for Devan Dubnyk. He's been great. He was great the other night. There were times Philadelphia took the play to Minnesota the other night, and Devan Dubnyk made some key saves, made a big stop on a breakaway during that game the other night to preserve that shutout win over the Flyers. So there's a reason why this total's at 5. There's no pucks getting by Devan Dubnyk the last 60, well, more than that, but last 3 games, 180 minutes of hockey against him. So that's why you're seeing this total where it is. And tough to go against Minnesota just because they got that the brick wall in between the pipes right now for them in Devan Dubnyk taking on this Nashville team that, although Nashville, you talk about a team that's starting to simmer and starting to heat up a little bit. It is this Nashville Predators team. 5 straight wins. Great win for them against Washington the other night on home ice. Pittsburgh, the game before that, they won in a shootout. This is a team that's heating up. Kyle Turris gives this team center ice depth that a lot of teams would crave. I mean, Johansson, Turris, and then, of course, Nick Bonino when he gets back. Wow, how about that for your top 3 centers? That's pretty good. That's about, you could match up those top 3 centers with a lot of teams in the league and say you're right there. It's the best 1-2-3 punch at center ice in the NHL. Nashville's got that now. So this is a tough game. I can't go against Minnesota with Dubnyk in the zone. But at the same time, this is a good price with Nashville. This is a really good price with Nashville, the way they're playing hockey right now. So very, very difficult game. I'm going to actually ask Alex about this game since that's his. Since he's nearby, he's got his ear to the ground when it comes to the Wild. Alex, what do you think? Is Cinderella going to lose her slipper tonight? Is Devin Dubnyk going to finally give up a goal? What's going to happen here tonight in Mini? Is Dubnyk finally going to have this shutout streak broken?
I would guess so, but I mean, I was on Philadelphia. I thought it was going to end, the other night, and it didn't. So I'll make this known, and we'll put it on record. If Dubnyk gets another shutout tonight, I'm going to wear a Wild jersey on Saturday's show. I actually do own one. So with that being said, I do think that Nashville, they've been playing some decent hockey lately, and this is a divisional game. They have a good chance. And you look at how I don't look too much into how they beat Washington, because Washington's a really bad team right now, despite they've been winning. I'll talk about that a little later. But the fact that Nashville, they played well at home. They doubled up the Capitals. They've got some good offense. This will be the team. I think they will at least be able to get a couple of goals behind Dubnyk. But like I said, it's hard to fade him, and you definitely can't look at that 5, unless that 5.5, we have seen lines move with these numbers now, 5 to 5.5, 5.5 to 6s. So maybe look at the total under, at a 5.5. You'd have to lay probably about 130, 140, but that's the only thing I would look at here. Can't look at either side.
Yeah, definitely. It's tough from a side perspective because I think Nashville's this is a good price. I mean, you get an underdog price with Nashville playing the way they are, but with Dubnyk putting up the zeros in net, it's tough. At the same time to go against Minnesota, even though the price is there on Nashville. So, very interesting game, but we'll see. I mean, I'll be keeping an eye on this game for sure, because this is when a goalie gets into this kind of groove, it's pretty fun to watch, and we'll see if Dubnyk can make it last and have yet another shutout on his resume for a fourth straight game tonight as he faces Nashville. We've got St. Louis and Edmonton next game, 65-66. Edmonton minus 115 at home. Total 5.5 shaded to the over in this hockey game. St. Louis, disappointing game now against Calgary the other night. Defensively, they lost their way. They were outplayed heavily. They deserved to lose that game to the Calgary Flames the other night. And that's now 2 losses in a row for the St. Louis Blues. And after that, prior to that, they were coming off a real bad home loss to the New York Islanders. So is now a little funk starting to creep up for this St. Louis team that's been playing great hockey most of the season. And the thing with Edmonton is, I know it was Vegas the other night that they absolutely steamrolled, and Legacy did not have a good night in net. But is that one of those breakout games where Edmonton says, all right, it's time to put our foot down. We've been lousy on home ice this year. We got to start putting some wins together here at Rogers Place here in Edmonton. So for that reason, I took a shot with St. Louis the other night against Calgary because I liked them off a loss, and they didn't play well at all. That concerns me, especially off a bad home loss to the Islanders. So I have no opinion on the side here in this game. Again, St. Louis off a loss, in theory, always interests me. But they were supposed to respond the other night against Calgary, and they were not good. They were outshot, outplayed heavily. They're lucky they kept that game as close as long as they did. They capitalized on their chances. Jake Allen was pretty good in net, gave them a chance, but just did not play well the other night against Calgary. And Edmonton, you got to think, is going to be looking at this homestand here as a chance where we got to make some hay, make up some ground, get on a win streak, get on a roll, start feeling good about ourselves. So I think you can make cases for either side. So I'm not going to be involved Blues and Oilers tonight in this game. Total 5.5. And again, Edmonton has been one of those teams that on the road, they've been trending way under the total. At home, they've been flying over the total. They've been a weird team that way so far this season. Their road games, for the most part, have gone under, and their home games, for the most part, have gone over the total. So it's been an odd thing to see develop, the home and road dichotomy in terms of Edmonton's totals, but it's basically what we're seeing. So if you follow that trend of where Edmonton's totals have gone, home versus road, maybe you make a case for the over, and maybe you make a case for the over too tonight in this game because Edmonton got their offense going against Vegas, and St. Louis isn't playing that great defense the last couple of games. I mean, Islanders put a 5 spot on the board against them. Calgary hangs 7 goals against them, although I think 1 or 2 of those were an empty net goal the other night. But the Blues have sort of let go of the rope a little bit defensively the last 2 games. So if I had to lean totals wise in this game, it would be over the 5.5. between the Blues and Oilers. We've got Washington, Colorado, 67-68. Washington minus 130, road favorite in this game, minus 130 to minus 135 in most locations. The total sitting at 5.5, shaded to the over, about minus 115 to minus 120. Colorado in the same boat as Ottawa, returning home from that 2 games in Sweden against Ottawa over the weekend. Looking to get things going here at home against the Washington Capitals. Really, it's a weird scheduling dynamic. Colorado off since Saturday. Washington continuing their road trip after the loss to Nashville the other night. Washington, to me, is a team I have no read on them whatsoever. They're very up and down. They got Matt Niskanen back on the ice the other night, and they played that poorly defensively against Nashville. Hard to fathom. Hard to figure it out. You would think that Washington bears down with a better performance tonight after that loss to Nashville. But again, laying a price with Washington on the road, I may have wanted to do that last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm of the belief this is not as good a Washington Capital team this year. It's proven that way so far. There's been a lack of consistency. They've had troubles in their own end at times. They've had trouble breaking the puck out of their own zone at times. They've had trouble scoring goals at times. So it's one of those situations where Washington on the road laying a price, even against Colorado, which is a flighty team to trust at times, not something I'm looking to do. Alex has a thought on this game. So does Andrew. Andrew, you have a note apparently on this Washington-Colorado game. What are you looking at here in this game?
Yeah, I'm actually heading back to that last game. I'm heading back actually to the Nashville, Minnesota game and the St. Louis, Edmonton game.
Oh yeah, go for it, sir.
Yeah. I was just putting there in our little chat group here. Just had 2 small leans in the totals in both those games. We always laugh, guys, about how the totals have been evolving in the NHL and how the scoring is really blowing up this year. And but things have kind of been settling down now. We see that total looking at 5. Between Minnesota and Nashville because, of course, Dubnyk looking so good this year. And, one thing I will say, every year if there's ever one team that have a tough read on or, if there's always one team where in the NHL you can kind of find, like, look, what do I think about this team? How is this team going to help me this year? What's a good spot for them to bet on them? For me, that's kind of been the Minnesota Wild, guys, because sometimes I can never tell if they're going to put up 1 goal, if they're going to put up 4, if Dubnyk's going to have a shutout, if someone's going to light them up, if the Wild are going to come out flat or not. And I think the Nashville this year has kind of proven that they can put the puck in the back of the net. They can be a fast-paced team. I think that last year in the playoffs, especially in the finals against Pittsburgh, that Nashville did prove that they can go that fast-paced kind of style. But in my opinion, they actually don't like that. They like to get pucks deep. They like to cycle the puck around. I think that's kind of what their motto is, that they're known for having those excellent defensemen. So they want to get the puck in the offensive zone. They want to swing the puck around. They want to get the puck out to their defenseman for that slap shot from the point, which is why I think the under is still a play in this game, guys. Even at the 5, I still like the under. It's looking at plus money for under 5. They opened at plus 125, and I don't really see too much action in this game, guys. I think it's going to be a very back and forth game. I think the first period is going to be a lot of just neutral zone action of both teams just kind of feeling each other out. So I'm looking at the under in the Nashville, Minnesota game and just looking at this St. Louis and the Edmonton team. Like you said, Ian, I fully agree with you about this Edmonton team as far as how up and down they've been with the overs and unders. I think that this Edmonton team has kind of been still searching for their identity. I mean, all of a sudden they're putting up 8 goals. Some games they're getting shut out. It's one of those things they're kind of keeping you guessing. But right now, coming into this game, I think that St. Louis, they've been trying to change their identity as well. They've been great on the power play. They've had players really stepping up that you wouldn't really expect to step up, which is great to see for St. Louis, which is why they've been successful so far this season. With Edmonton, I think right now that this is kind of the time of the year where, I was just saying yesterday that we're kind of getting to that point in NHL season right now where obviously we're not deep into it quite yet, but we're kind of out of that, first week or two funk, first couple of weeks, guys. Would you say that, we're kind of established now of this season? So I think that St. Louis has proven themselves as an elite team. And I think if you're going to compete against a team like Edmonton, it is going to be a fast-paced game. Last night going looking at the Calgary versus Detroit Red Wings game, The only play I had last night whatsoever was the over in that game, and strictly, obviously with Eddie Lack being in nets, that was a big factor. But sometimes you just have a read on a game being a really fast-paced game, and teams not taking things easy whatsoever and not sitting back whatsoever. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen in this matchup, guys. So to me, the over hits easily in this game between St. Louis and Edmonton. I say there's lots of action, lots of early goals. I think the play might even be in the first period for the St. Louis and Edmonton game. Both teams right now need to get off to a hot start. This first period should be exciting, and this is a game I'll definitely keeping my eyes on, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the over does make sense. And actually, I was leaning over initially with this game. Yeah, more I dig into it as I'm looking at recent series history, and I'm looking at results, and I'm looking at current form, and then I'm looking at the goaltending numbers against these respective teams. You start to like it a little bit more. So, yeah, over definitely makes sense in that Blues Oilers game. Let's get back to what were we at? Washington, Colorado, yes. And Alex B. Smith's involved with the Capitals and the Avalanche here in this game. Alex, what are you looking at?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking about how defensively dominant Ottawa was against Colorado in those two games against Sweden. I think now that's going to help this Colorado team wake up. I mean, they've played their best hockey in Denver. They've gone 5-1-1. At home so far this year, and they're catching a Capitals team that looked just absolutely lethargic in the last 30 minutes of that game. They gave up those 6 goals in that 6-3 loss within the first 40 minutes of play. So the third period, they had ample time to even get close within that game. They just didn't. They just looked completely out of it. Now they leave a tough game, play a rested Colorado team, playing in altitude. It's not a good spot at all. I don't understand why Washington is still a favorite, even a short favorite of $1.30. So the way I look at this, and I played it, I got a plus $1.15 on the overnight line with the Avalanche. That's the side I look at here. I think they should be able to take care of business to get a win.
All right, there we go. Colorado Avalanche for Alex B. Smith in that game. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent price, no question. Like I say, I'm not in love with Washington this year as much. They're laying, minus 130 to minus 135 on the road. So it's one of those situations that's just not the price range I'm trusting Washington in right now. They're just not playing good enough to warrant them at laying chalk of that magnitude on the road. So, yeah, Colorado, no argument from a value perspective. Definitely could be worth a look there. We've got Vegas, Vancouver, 69.70. Vancouver, minus 150 at home. Total, 6 shaded to the under. Some Vegas money trickling in, and people betting the spot, clearly. I mean, we know Vegas was embarrassed the other night against Edmonton. Not a good performance for them whatsoever. We've got Vancouver coming off a great win against LA, come from behind to beat them 3-2 the other night, which was good because Canucks was Alex's best bet. Under was my best bet in that game, and boy, it came in, and it didn't look good for either when it was 2-0 LA after the first period. But Vancouver gets there, the under gets there, and we both go home happy that night with best bet winners on the Tuesday show. This one, though, the shoe's on the other foot. You got a great plus price with Vancouver on the road. Now you're at home with Vancouver off that road trip where they haven't played as well on home ice, and they're laying a significant price. No way is that a price out range I like Vancouver in, not by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a good spot for Vegas. I will absolutely be looking at taking Vegas. They're a prideful team, a well-coached team by Gerard Gallant. Not happy with the way they played. They show up. Does it guarantee they win? No, but I know I'm going to get Vegas's best effort in a game tonight off that kind of defeat. Will give me Vegas plus 130. Absolutely will be on my card tonight. And Alex B. Smith, you want to talk about this game? I got a sense you might be looking in the same direction.
Yep, absolutely, and I'm glad I played it yesterday because I actually got it at 145. So that number keeps plummeting and plummeting. Vancouver was very lucky to get away with a 3-2 win. The other night, like I said, coming back, they were down 2-0. They just didn't have their offense going at all, and penalties got LA in trouble. And Vancouver came back, rally. Like I said, thankfully they were able to not only get the win for the Canucks, but like I said, keep it under for your best bet as well. They whiffed like twice on the empty net, so definitely got lucky with that. But yeah, this Vegas team, yes, they're coming off their worst loss in franchise history, and now they got to play a Vancouver team that's Jekyll and Hyde on offense and coming off of a 4-game road trip. So, the only way I look here is on Vegas. It's one of the games that I played yesterday, so it's a game that I like quite a bit, actually. So.
Very good. And a lot of times Alex B. Smith, because I'm in the email list that he sends out his plays early, sometimes the day before, the night before. And a lot of times he's better for it because he gets a better price than you would get the morning of. And this Vegas game is a perfect example of that. A better price yesterday was out there on the Golden Knights. Now it's come down a little bit, and everybody basically liking the spot for Vegas. And why not? I mean, they're Vancouver off the road trip. Back home, laying a big price against I think a Vegas team which is going to be looking at a tone for the performance the other night against the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, you still got to trust Legacy in net. He'll be probably back in there tonight, but he's also a prideful player. He's going to want to bounce back as well, just like the whole team. They'll probably look to really right the ship. And again, Vancouver's always a beatable hockey team. They're never going to roll over, steamroll, and dominate teams. So it's a chance for Vegas to get back in the win column, I think. Even though on the road it's been a really tough go for them. I mean, they've struggled away from T-Mobile, but I think they got a chance to pick up a rare road win here tonight. Andrew also has a thing that he wants to mention about the Vegas-Vancouver game. Andrew, what you got?
Yeah, Ian. So coming into this game, we're looking at the total at 6 right now. And, one thing that's just an obvious statement is that when you're looking at a team like Vegas, that's simply everyone, the talk of Vegas right now in the start of the regular season was just like, wow, they're actually putting up some wins. We're surprising some people. People are scoring that weren't expecting to score. Their goaltending has been there. And then all, shit kind of hit the fan, for lack of better words, and all their goaltending problems started to happen. And, I think to not complicate things too much when you're handicapping a card, you just look at this and you see a Vancouver team that in the past couple of games have been struggling to find goals. And then you look at this Vegas team that has a different goaltender in net every night. And when you're a defenseman and you look back and it's a different person every night, it's a different face every night, different set of pads back there every single night, you're looking at someone. It's one of those tough things. And not saying that, whoever gets the nod can't go out there and just post a great game. But in my opinion, whoever it is, and I wish it was Ferguson because he is a Vancouver native, whoever it is right now is going out. And in my opinion, it's troublesome. It's worrisome for me because unless you get that starting job, unless you get that distinct, look, this guy is injured, so you're playing until X amount of person is back. Right now, their depth chart, they are so far down the depth chart. It's kind of laughable, guys. So to me, this game just screams over. I think Vancouver, the past couple of games, they've gone through that little rough stint. I think they've been playing well to start the season off. They beat the Kings 3-2. They lose to the Sharks. The San Jose Sharks putting up a 5 spot against them. They get shut out, and then they lose to the Anaheim Ducks 4-1 on November 9th. So look, what better place, guys, to bounce back, to put up some goals, to kind of get your offense going back again than against this Vegas team. I really can't picture a team really besides the Arizona Coyotes that would be a better team to kind of spark your offense and get things going, guys. So I'm not worried about the 6. I'm not scared about it. I think that this game could fly over the total. I think that Vegas could even, bounce back. They kind of got embarrassed in their past 1 or 2 games, guys. So this is a good spot for me. I think Vancouver is going to be able to show up tonight. And this should be a competitive game, guys. I'm looking forward to this one, and I wish you guys luck with your bets on the game as well.
All right, very good. Over a 6 for Andrew on that Vegas-Vancouver game. We've really got to motor along. We're totally up against it. Florida-San Jose. Quickly, we'll go through this one. Minus 160, 165 favorite for San Jose. Total 5.5. I don't have much on this game at all. Probably not going to have a wager on it, but Alex B. Smith wants to talk about it. Florida-San Jose, what are you looking at?
Florida, a lot of guys missing or dealing with the flu. Derek McKenzie might be out for this game. One of their big veteran guys, but Joe Thornton is questionable for San Jose as well. So I would look at this game maybe under. You can find 5.5 at a pick and price. I don't see where there'll be a lot of scoring if Thornton's out for San Jose and Florida. It's hard to find a lot of scoring with them as well too. So I see this being a kind of low and slow game. 5.5 is a decent price.
8-1 to the under San Jose, their last 9 games. One of the more flying under the radar totals trending teams right now is San Jose with the under. 8-1 their last 9 games under the total. So they have been an under machine. They've been playing good defense. Martin Jones, after some struggles early on, has played better. So no argument. Under does make some sense there. I'm staying away from the side. I never love laying that kind of price with San Jose. but at the same time, Florida's battling some flu-like symptoms. They've been inconsistent on the road. They've not been great, all that trustworthy. So tough game. I'm staying away. And I'm staying away from this one. It's the last game on the card. I want no part of it whatsoever. You've got Boston, LA, 73-74. Lines just being posted now. LA minus 175, home favorite, total 5.5 shaded to the under. I'm not laying that price with LA. They're struggling. They're starting to hit a rut a little bit. Boston, to me, is just depleted injury-wise, cannot win a game right now to save themselves. They're on a major funk. So these are this bet against versus bet against. Boston in a tough back-to-back spot. Clear pass for me. No part of this game. Andrew, Alex, I assume you're not involved either, right? I see the head shaking. No.
No,
all right.
no.
That's good because we're
one of those games, I think, where it's just a question mark, and you don't want to force anything whatsoever, guys. Looking at this game, I'll pass that along to you, Ian. We'll let you have a little bit of a talk about this game. I'm going to pass on this one.
Yeah, exactly. I have nothing to add. I mean, I'm not going to be. This is the one game I knew right away. I'm not having a. I don't even have a light opinion on this game whatsoever. Bruins and Kings. So that's good. We can move on to best bets, where we went 3-0 on Tuesday. Perfect sweep with the best bets. Now 36-27 on the season. So a profitable winning record with best bets. Let's see if we can add to it on this Thursday card. I'm going to mention Dana Lane's best bet first. He was not on the show, but he's got one. He's on Edmonton minus 115 tonight against the St. Louis Blues. The Edmonton Oilers minus 115 against the St. Louis Blues. That is the best bet on the Ice Guys show today from Dana Lane, who will be back here with us on Saturday. So Dana's got Edmonton. Andrew, what do you got for a best bet tonight?
Thanks, Ian. Well, I am paying a little bit of a steeper price than I would like to for this, but it is a great day for me. It's a big slate as far as totals go, but I'm going to go for a side for my best bet of the day, guys. I'm really liking the Winnipeg Jets. I like it. I'm liking the kind of team that they're kind of identifying themselves as right now, guys. And the main reason is, main reason I look at one thing I really look at for when I handicap hockey is the depth. The reason why the Pittsburgh Penguins have won back-to-back Stanley Cups isn't because they have Sidney Crosby as their captain, isn't because they have Evgeny Malkin. It's because of their depth. They have players that can always step up, and I think right now that is the best thing about this Winnipeg Jets team is that it's not just that one guy that you're relying on to score. Right now they have a couple lines that are rolling. They have different guys that are putting the puck in the back of the net. The chemistry looks like it's there. Everyone's having a great time, and it also just all starts with the goaltending. Goaltending really has been there for this Winnipeg Jets team, and it does make you confident as a player and, of course, as a handicapper when you're trying to back them. So looking at this Winnipeg Jets team, I do think they could cover the puck line, guys, but I'm keeping things safe with the best bet. I'll lay the juice and take Winnipeg Jets on the money line, guys.
All right, Winnipeg money line for Andrew McInnes, minus 135 or minus 130. Let's give him a better price. Minus 130 at Heritage Sports, SBRodds.com. Remember, check that out. Live odds all the time. Alex B. Smith, your best bet.
My best bet, like I said, there's a lot of good games on the board tonight, but I'm going with Colorado at home. As a dog, you can catch it around plus 110, plus 115. That's more of a Washington fade at this point. Like I said, this Capitals team, they're an absolute mess, and who knows if they're gonna, management might blow this team up if we could see guys get moved. Maybe we see Ovechkin go somewhere, different for the first time in his career. Who knows? But right now, Colorado coming off rested, back in North America, back home where they've won, 5 of the last 7. I think the Avalanche take care of business at home tonight.
All right, Avalanche for Alex B. Smith, and my best bet. I think I've got a winner on the ice. I think I've got a winner on the ice. Viva Las Vegas, winning with the Ice Guys. We're going to go Vegas plus 130 tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. That is going to be my best bet. Vegas plus 130, rotation 69. Great spot. I think you get a response from this team after the shellacking they took against the Edmonton Oilers the other night. Let's go with the Golden Knights to shine like Golden Knights do. Plus 130, 69 on the rotation. Vegas, my best bet for the round table. Not for the round table, for the Ice Guys. Got my shows mixed up. 36-27 with the best bets. We'll see if we can add to that tonight. And that's going to do it for our Thursday show. Great to have everyone in the chat with us. 102 viewers. Fantastic stuff. Thanks to everyone for watching. And a reminder, check out sportsbookreview.com. Live odds, free picks, free articles. Dana Lane has a daily article for the NHL up there. Check out the links below this video. for all of SBR's social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google+. And again, give the show a thumbs up and a like if you like the show. Please, we appreciate it. And we hope you keep tuning in. We're here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern time on the NHL Ice Guys. For Andrew McInnes, for Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron, and Dana Lane will be back with us Saturday. I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. We'll see you Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys. Enjoy the Thursday night NHL action. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you Saturday.